Right. Good morning, team. How are we? Just going to adjust my setup, make sure we're all good. I hope you're all well. Here we go. Nice. Nice. Right. Welcome once again, everybody, to our Sensei sessions. Really good that you can join us today. By now, I guess you're looking on the screen. You can see what's happening. Very, very straightforward one. I'll just make sure we're in the right frame. Just having a look at my bits and pieces. Yeah, awesome. So today, just thought that we would do just a continuous session. And one of the things is I don't know if we've got one of these on the YouTube yet. So I was thinking about it before and thought, well, hey, it'd be good to put one on there. But ultimately, as well, if you have or haven't done one of these, and this is all sort of just around the asensei program, if you've been following some of my stuff or if you've been on a few of our other coaches that are online, the best part about asensei now is we've gone to the single pay method. So you guys can sign up, get your subscription, and you can get access to everybody that is on the asensei program now. So it's pretty good. Previously you were signing up for me or Shane, Jan, all the rest. So it was all basically just those people, but we've gone to for you guys to be able to get hold of everybody. So if you want to jump on, do things, maybe you get bored of me. I hope not. Hey, we'll see about that one. So yeah, I think it's a really cool way for you guys to get a hell of a lot more content and to be able to watch a whole lot more stuff on the internet. And as we say, we're on here to get fit, healthy, do what we're doing. Great rowing machine sessions, and there's a whole mix of them as well because it is hard to try and get, I guess, the right sessions for the right people and for what you want to do. I try and mix it up as much as I can to get a little bit of, I guess you just want that motivation and that enthusiasm to be like, yep, I'm going to go and punish myself or get fit today. We won't say punish yourself too much. You just want to get on there and do something that's a little bit of fun, join in, and we get that connected coaching side of things at the same time. So, these YouTube things just a little bit above and beyond what we've been doing, which is great. And so, yeah, really enjoying presenting them to you and, creating this sort of content. So today, countdown. If you haven't done one before, it's really simple. We're going to set our machine onto a variable interval and we have no rest. Okay, so we just set the timer for 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 36 minutes all in one go. Okay, so the idea is that it's just a continuous, nice, long, steady rhythm. We get into the row, we focus, but what's happening is because the time's clicking down, we only ever see 8 minutes, we only ever see 7 or 6 or 5, and it just keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So we've sort of still got our focal points that I talk about when we're doing the interval training, but ultimately we're just continuously going for it, and we're just going to have that mental bit of a change like, okay, I've finished this section, right, what am I going to focus on for the next one? And now your fatigue's starting to set in a little bit. So you're like, okay, I've got to start focusing. I've got to start sitting up a little bit more. You'll see your split as well. So if you have the screen set as well, you can see what your average split was or your average watts or whatever it was for each section. And then you just try and meet that again. Okay, we're not trying to go a hell of it. We're not trying to go faster. We will go a little bit faster because towards the end of it, we're going to bump it up to 22. And this is really just because I don't know what everybody's, and we'll talk about it afterwards. I don't know what everybody's like training rating is. I personally believe that you want to get a lot of stuff done around this 20 and 22. Now, if you can get it at 20 and you can have the long rhythm and you can work the muscles, you can work them a lot easier and you can get a lot more fitness work out of it than if you're just zipping up and down the slide. Okay. And that's why I believe that sort of 20 rating is really good. The 22 just adds a little bit more element and flow to the system. And that's why we'll chuck that in there at the end. So, it is one thing, I do see a lot of stuff online about people using the row machine and they'll do these set things and they're just sitting there 24, 26. You could do the same speed at that people are doing at 24, 26 at sort of 2022 if you're doing the stroke properly. Okay. And ultimately, that's just what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to find the good leg push, the good hang, using the muscle groups, getting that sequencing done properly. Because ultimately, you do it right here. We go faster when we increase the ratings. You guys, if you've got your own personal goals and you go, right, I want to do a 2K, 5K, I want to do a 10K, hell, I want to do 60-minute time, whatever it is, you can find that sweet spot in there. Whereas if you're just zipping back and forward, you're not actually producing the power that's going to get you a good time. Okay, and so that's why we're doing this. So let's just jump on for a couple of minutes and basically just get warmed up. I did a little bit before, but at the moment, as I say, I'm just talking a little bit too much. But yeah, it'll be we'll be able to get a nice little bit of a warm up going. The one thing you'll find today, which you might struggle with, if you're not used to doing like a whole lot of time in one go, is the fact that you'll be like, man, I'm getting thirsty. I want a bit of a break. But this is what we'll push through while we're doing it today. So I've had a pretty tough weekend. Went down and helped the mate with some work on his property and played some golf, so I'm a bit stiff. So I'll loosen it up. As I say, sometimes it's nice to work off the back when you're doing your warm-up, just to get the flow. So we'll do 2 or 3 minutes just getting warmed up. And then we'll set our monitors and then we'll get into it. Okay. So really just finding the length, feeling the muscles starting to hang in the positions that we want them to be in. Feeling that push. The body starting to get a little bit more dynamic. Good. Remember, just letting the chain do some work for us. Good flow. Starting to put that little bit of pressure on in this last part of the warm-up. Yeah, really good. It should only take us a couple of minutes to start feeling like we're going to breathe a little bit heavier. Muscles start asking for a bit more oxygen. You can feel the muscles having to work the body. Really good. Just looking for that length of stroke. Good. Okay. Nice. So should be plenty of warm up. We'll try not to muck around too much. Oh look, my Apple Watch knows that I'm on the rowing machine. Big brother people, big brother watching us. Okay, so let's jump in. Well, I'll try and make this as easy as possible so that we all set it up properly at the same time. I guess there's probably a lot of you that might know how to do it. Otherwise, we'll follow, make sure we've done it all properly. Ultimately, the whole idea with this is we could just set like a single time, but I truly believe that when we're using the machine, we just want to be tricking ourselves a little bit, because everything's mental. You know, motivation's mental, pushing ourselves is mental. All of this. So if we set something up which is going to alleviate a little bit of like monotony and stress, that type of thing, and anxiety, we're going to do it better. Okay, and that's why we do these type of workouts. And it's for you guys at home when you're doing it by yourself as well. experiment, find something that works for you, you know, whether it's just 5-minute pieces. That's all I love doing. It's really easy. Cool. Okay. And that's why you stay motivated. So, screen turned off. So maybe you guys turned off too. So let's go. Select workout, new workout. We go to intervals. Then we go to the one down the bottom, which is intervals variable. Okay, so let's pay attention on this one. Now, you press time. Now change the time, the set time, up to 8 minutes. Okay, and we leave the rest time as it is. And then we press our tick button, bottom right corner. Okay, and now we do time again. And just keep subtracting the time. So now we're at 7. We press our bottom right button, the tick. Then we do time again. And we go down to 6. Then we do time again. And we go down to 5. So we just continue that down by yourselves. 4. Time. 3. Time. 2. Time. Okay, and we do 1. Once we've done that, it should say 9 intervals at the top. And then we're going to put in and say no more intervals. We're going to be ready to go. So I'll give you another, say, 20, 30 seconds, just in case anybody that's following it has buggered it up, or whether you don't think it's right and you want to reset that again. And then we'll get into it. Okay, so intervals, variable, then click on that time, put the first one in as 8 minutes, and then you press OK, 0 rest, 7, OK, 6, OK, all the way down to 1. And then we're basically right now going to say no more intervals. Okay, we've got 8 minutes up on the top of the screen, hopefully. And then we're going to be ready to go. Okay, so I'm really hoping you got it there ready to go. If you're not, if you haven't, if it's been a bit of a struggle, you can just start with us. Okay, just really, this is getting used to a little bit of the functionality of the machine. And then ultimately as well, if you can actually set that sort of stuff up, what you can actually do is do distance and intervals at the same time. So you can be like, you know what, I'm going to do 5 minutes, and then I'm going to do 1,000 meters, and then I'm going to do 2 minutes, and then I'm going to do 2,000 meters, you know, and so you can actually go between the distance and the time, and even calories if you chuck them in there as well. So there's really good functionality behind the PM5. I think it works on the PM4 too. So have a quick drink. Let's lock and load. Make sure I've got my buttons on. And we're about to rip into it. Okay. Just make sure we've got enough. Okay. So let's lock and load. Ready to go. Sitting nice and tall. So for 8 minutes, 7, 6, and 5, we're going to do it 20. And then we'll just bump it up for that sort of last 10 minutes, up to the 22. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Row. So we just start out getting on to our rhythm. Nice and long strokes. Looking for that efficiency, because ultimately what I said in this warm-up, we want to just tick along, we want to get our average, we want to just try and be able to make that even all the way through. Set ourselves a target. What am I going to be able to hold for this period of time? Fitness zone. That's what we're doing today. This is going to be a good aerobic session. So let's feel that push of the legs, opening the body. Nice. Both feet. Feel that compression as we roll into the front. Nice. Yeah, let's feel that hang under the armpits. So we can really feel the overall length of our stroke at 20 rate. We can feel the resistance, the hang. Feeling our heart rates getting into a good zone. Sitting nice and tall. Looking for that ratio where we work and then we recover, we rest, we switch off. So as we push away, hang under the armpit. Feel that connection, the feet, the core and lower back. And we've got to hang on the handles, not choking the handle with the hands. Feel that resistance right through the drive. Yeah, really good. Feel the push and swing. Very good. Sitting nice and tall. Breathing. Find that breathing rhythm. Body's asking for oxygen. Yeah, nice push. Looking for consistency. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so really feel that hang. Want to feel our rhythm.
continuous motion, working and resting, okay? Nice and supple, nice soft knees on the recovery. Let that resistance and the chain take us forward. Good. So really dial this in. Look at our speed, our consistency. Into the final minute of this first section. It's all a mental game. Staying focused. Being consistent. So let's feel the hang. Long arms. Make that the first focus as we come through this split time. Hang. Feel the body being swung back. Yeah, there we go. So keep focused on our rhythm. Keep our average in check. Keep that hang in the arms. Try and keep a nice flat draw. Try not to have too much down with the elbows or too much butterfly wings. Brushing the body with the handle, letting the resistance make the change of the rebound, the momentum. Good. So with that hang in the arms, feel how it's getting drawn with the body swing, okay? Body starts swinging back, hands come with it. Nice. Yeah, good flow. So let's start looking again now at how we're rolling around the front. Bringing it all together on the drive. As we roll into the catch, nice and loose. The compression, the stretching the ankles, sitting tall, heads up. Feel that engagement in the body, and the legs start to drive everything back. Yeah, good. Legs drive that body. We talk about the summation of forces. The big muscle groups start, secondary takes in, smaller groups are just trying to maintain what's been created from the front. Good. Good flow. So even though we do get that good drive through, we don't want to sit at the back and wait. There's always going to be the tension on the drive. As soon as we brush the body, release, work, rest. This is the efficiency. When we don't have to work, we're not tight, we're not tense. We let the machine do the work through there. We can breathe. We can relax the face. Good. Yeah, really nice. We've got that relaxation. Let's once again think about this around the front. One drive. Everything just sits back through the stroke. Not trying to have a go with the body and add more power. Everything's just a one movement. Sit back into the finished position. And then just let the hands roll around. Yeah, good. Nice push. Feel the hang. That's it. Continuous motion. Nice and focused. Really stay with that rhythm all the way through the final parts. Okay, so now we're ready for the change. Here we go. Just to refocus. Okay, looking at our numbers. Back on the same rhythm. Good. Feel it flow. Good. Let's focus our hang again. Armpits. And into the lats. Tap it along. As we roll around the front, Feel like we're pushing away from the hands, leaving them out long. And pushing away. And as we've been doing this, we should just be realizing that we've locked in a rhythm, a momentum that's just allowing us to sit here, hit the strokes per minute, to have the long stroke, feel the resistance. Good. Really just be in tune with the rowing machine, with ourselves. Continuous motion. Really good. Feel the swing. Feel the rhythm. Let's feel that compression at the front. Rolling onto the feet. Nice. Handle draws us forward. On the recovery. Puts the body in a good position. Consistency. Breathing. Nice. Be nice and relaxed. Let's everybody have a self-check. Shake it out. Stay nice and loose. Good. Okay, good hand. Breathing. Good consistency. Flowing. Good hand. Feel that breathing. Feel the heart rate. Feel our work rate. Are we in a good position? To maintain this. And we're well over halfway, okay? So let's move into this next one. Same again. Next focus check. Look at our numbers. Find our speed. Breathe into it. Rhythm. And relaxation. Good. Good flow. Nice. Remember to keep it out of the shoulders. Loose hang. Nice flat draw. You want that chain. One plane through there, and then one plane forward. Don't want to drop too much down over here and up, because it can cause us to lift. Straight out. There's a tiny little bit of downward motion through here, but letting the chain take us forward. The moment we drop it down, the shoulders come down, we've got to lift to get onto it. So if we're nice and set, then as we push, we're already on the plane. We can just hang off it. Yeah, good rhythm. Think about our core, stability, around that finish, and around the catch. Yeah, that's good. Good hang. Feel the push. Breathe into it. Really good going, team. Consistency. Focus. Okay? Keep the clarity. Focus the technique. Next minute. Feel the roll into the front. And then feel it load onto the feet. Nice. Really good. So we're coming down to the final section. Okay. We're going to free things up a little bit. Remember, just with the hand speed. Move with it. We only just want a little bit more. Okay. Here we go. Let's flow with it. Hand speed. Leg speed. Okay. We get the hang. It'll be slightly more accelerated. And we just got to focus in on it. Find our breathing. Small changes. We don't need to see a massive change in speed. Good length and rhythm. As we move the hands around the back, because they're a little bit quicker, we'll feel that quickness of the bungee, taking the chain back to the catch. Okay, now it's all about efficiency. Keep it loose. No tension. Nice, good rhythm. So let's use this momentum around the finish. Take us forward. Be ready for the catch. Change in direction. Here we go. Around the front. Load and push. Compress. Coil and push away. Nice. Breathing. Let's find this momentum. And all it is a little bit quicker than what we were doing before. Momentum gives us the speed. Heart rate will come up a little bit. Muscles want a bit more oxygen. But we stay loose, relaxed, flow with the speed. Make this 22 the new normal. Long stroke still. Good. Really nice. Good hang. Just keep the flow. Okay? So down to the next time check. Let's go through this. The other hang. Let's focus around the front. You've only got 3 time changes to go. Feel the rhythm. Relaxation. Good. Be nice and loose. Roll around the back. Hands. Brush the body. Good. So let's focus those hands, drawing us forward. Shoulders and chest are up. Heads are up. Sitting tall. Think about the plane of that handle. Keeps everything strong position. We feel the coil around the catch, compression. Good. Hold that rhythm. Momentum around the finish. Breathe. Yeah, nice. Sitting tall. Focus. Holding that rhythm. Remember, we should feel a little bit of accelerated drive. Don't make it heavy. Legs drive the body. Okay, second to last change. Just keep the rhythm. Here we go. Let's focus this one on our drive. Okay, the push with the hang, body speed, hands draw. Don't load it at the front. Remember, it's a momentum. Roll in and away. Good. Hang. Nice. Feel the swing off the legs. Just breathe. Remember, we're trying to be consistent all the way. Nice long arms. Sitting tall. Breathing. Good. Momentum. So keep breathing. Sitting tall. Same rhythm. Last change. Good. Sit tall. Relax the face. Hold the speed. Feel the hang. Nice. Good rhythm. Remember, staying loose, relaxed. Just like that. We're done. Nice. Okay. Really good. So we'll just roll it away for a little bit. Now, hopefully your heart rate's going to get up too high towards the end of that. You know, it's a little bit natural because we're on the countdown. Oh, well, I'll add a little bit more getting towards the end. You know, ultimately, I am a big fan of that consistency. We went a little bit quicker, it's fine. But if all of a sudden our last few segments are like a second or two quicker, we need to put that into the front end of the program, okay? And ultimately be able to just hang on to what we do towards the start. You know, we set ourselves a goal. Okay, I think I can hold this split today. Give it a nudge. If we fade, so be it, you know? Right, I'll do it again next time. Okay, so we're all looking for that goal orientation as much as possible. Okay, but my heart rate's back. It's a really good workout. I quite like that. I do that with myself quite a lot. You can do the countdown with an increasing rate as well. That's a really good way. If you ever want to try and find your maximum heart rate, she's a really good way of doing that. Okay, so basically you can start at like 20 or 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So the last sort of 10 minutes, you're at some real high rating and intensity, and you're just trying to get to the finish. Okay, so we won't do that today. Maybe tomorrow, next week. Just kidding. Okay, but really good. The other thing too you can find where you can do it now is just jump back into your memory. It's quite a good one to have a look at. Where are we? And you can see your splits through each time check. You know, and you can see your overall meters that you managed to do. So, you know, solid workout. And you can have a look and go, okay, how consistent was I in those pieces? And then how much did I change when I went up to 22? And how consistent was I when I went to that 22? So far looking good for me. So that's a little bit of an exercise for you guys as well when you have a finish to just check it up, have a look. You know, and it is all about that consistency, you know, and when we went up to that 22 rate, the idea was just to free that stuff up, you know, move a little bit quicker, keep it flowing on. And that's why it's not a huge change, but it does force you to be more conscious about what we're doing. You know, more flow, more rhythm, letting the machine do that work, working into that efficiency of what we're doing. And because it's a little bit quicker and the muscles have been used to doing this, the work at 20 and the speed at 20, then all of a sudden 22, it's only 2 strokes a minute quicker. But it actually does make quite a bit of a change, you know, and it's been in control and doing that at the same time. So that's why I thought I'd throw that in there today, ultimately as well, mix things up a bit, and it works really well. So hope you all enjoyed that. If you haven't seen one of those before, I think we may have one on the asensei program. Guys, help me out here. And as I said before, great thing you guys are tuning in for this asensei because you may have gotten the email or seen the notification now that our pay system now works for every program. Okay, so if you want to jump onto Shane's, the UK riding's got some stuff on there, myself, and plenty more coming soon. Okay, work in progress. Takes me a while to bump out some workouts and bits and pieces, but really enjoying what we're doing here now. Right, what do we got? We'll do a few questions. I don't know whether you guys need to shoot off. It's getting mid-morning here in New Zealand. I better go do some productive work. We'll catch up on this one later. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, that was one thing I thought about at the start was the fact that if you're not used to doing sort of differing intervals, and I do a lot of workout sometimes and different programming for people where we'll do different distances. So this is working up to 2K stuff. Whereas I'll make them do like 1,000 meter with 90 seconds rest, and then a 750 with 60 seconds rest, then a 500 with 30 seconds rest,
And you do that, and then you go back up the scale. So it's one of these things where when you can set it on the machine, it works really, really, really well. But if you don't know how to set the machine up, it's a little bit difficult. So, there is really good functionality to be able to do that on here. And that's the cool part about it. So today was pretty simple because we didn't have to buggerize around with the rest time. But what we could do is we could say, okay, we could do 1 minute pieces, right? And we could go, let's do some 1 minute pieces with 1 minute rest. But then we'll do 5 in the middle, where it might be 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, which is even tougher. And then you go back to doing 1 minute with 30 seconds rest. So with a minute rest, so you can change that sort of stuff in the workout. And then you don't have to stop and reset the machine, and that it's just continuously going, so it makes it really difficult. David, thanks a lot, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Bill, is there a slight drop in hands on recovery for biomechanics or to simulate oars? It's really probably a little bit to simulate oars. I really don't know why, and this is what I say on the machine, is that ultimately we want to be fair, the way that the machine works, handle should just come in at one height, back out the other, and do that, okay? And yeah, generally it is, because when you do finish, if you just, it is easiest just to push it back out. But sometimes that little bit of movement around, just what it does is, because you finish through like this, it sort of helps drop the shoulders a little bit, and you do that. Whereas if you're straight up and then straight out, you sort of keep the shoulders up a little bit towards the finish, because we don't want them up here, and we don't want them sort of drop too much far back, because that's what you do with the hands. But they do sort of tend to come up a little bit with that flat arm, so it just helps push that out. But if you push it out too far, what happens is you tend to go down and up towards the catch. So that slight movement around is what we talk about, and it's only a tiny bit. And when you're thinking of an around the motion, you don't get that stop-start. Even with the front, when I talk about around the front, I think of this tiny little grape-sized movement around the front. Wouldn't even be as big as a golf ball. It just comes up, and then there's just this sort of slight roundness to the front, because otherwise it is just an in, stop, out. And that's why I find people load it and they get tense and stuff, because they go in, out. Whereas if you're actually thinking like it actually does make this tiny little turn around, that's where I talk about round the front, round the back. You can't do round if you go in and out. So yeah, that's probably about it. I'm pretty tall, Bob. Find my elbows dropping below my knees on the side. Is that a problem? Should my elbows, if you're talking about on the recovery, here we go. This will put me on the spot. They potentially should, because if your knees come up, they'll come into here. It depends if they on how low they should be. Mine brush on the inside of my things, and when I do a lot of ergs, there's just no hair on the side of on my arms and on my knees as well, because it basically just, as I come along, it sort of brushes across here, and they will go down a little bit, but not too much. The whole idea with not dropping the thing is, so this is my posture. Now, if I'm like this, it's all straight, goes out to there, it's really good. The moment my hands drop down like this, that's sort of where, it's quite natural, because people get taught it's got to go over and down below your knees. But see, what happens is everything drops down, and you don't have to worry about it. Like in the boat, yeah, you've got to do that to get the blade off the water, that type of thing. But in here, we want to just be straight through and flat. So yeah, your elbows will come through here, and that's fine. But we just don't want it to go down too much, because then this sort of stuff happens, okay? And the whole reason is I don't want people coming in and doing this because, loading my back, and then you'll be like, I've got a sore back from using the rowing machine. So everything we're trying to teach on this is for a really solid connection, safe connection, not putting ourselves in overexerting, getting way up here into the catch so we get sore knees or sore ankles. Everything's just around a little bit of that biomechanic side. But there are people, and one guy that we used to row with, George, in the program, he was 6'7", right? But his leg length was humongous. Like, he would hit the back of the rowing machine, okay? And he had to wear bare feet for basically that reason. The fact was his body was so short that his arms were down here and his knees were up around his chin, okay? And you can see him rowing in the boat, and he looks like the shortest guy ever to be rowing. but when you saw him standing out, he was a giant. Okay, so this is what we talk about, different body shapes and stuff like that as well. Mo, what heart rate? Yeah, mate, heart rate's really specific, and I talk to everything I've learned, and I'm no physiologist. I'm no doctor, so the only thing I've learned is that there's a lot of research around this magical number of 80%. Okay, and if you want to get aerobically fitter, anywhere between around that 80% mark, plus or minus 5 to 10%. Okay, some people train well above it, some people train a little bit below it, and that's really what we get to. But there's a lot of research and science. Just look it up online. We'll talk about aerobic heart rate being somewhere around the vicinity of 80% of your max. So if your maximum, if you think it's 180, then you're going to be training, 140, 150s. If your heart rate's at 200, it's easy to work out. You're at 160. Okay, so that is one thing with heart rate, and it's very personable as well. And things like that you should notice over time, and a lot of it really just comes down to feeling. Like if you're rowing along and you can feel the heart rate like in your head, you're like, oh, that feels pretty quick. And I'm struggling to breathe a little bit, and I'm starting to feel like I've worked pretty hard here. Maybe it's a little bit too much. Okay, so I just think this 80% heart rate thing is a pretty standard thing. So you just got to do a bit of research and work it out for yourself. And because ultimately the biggest thing with it is there's a lot of research around high intensity training. Now that's great if you're doing short distance stuff, sports that things happen pretty quick. But if you want to be, the problem with rowing, dare I say it, is that you've got to train like an endurance athlete, and yet races are 5, 6, 7 minutes long. And even doing like a 2K, you can train like high intense, but you'll really struggle to maintain it for a long period of time. So you just got to do what you can and enjoy what you're doing. Ultimately, we're using this what for? There's a reason why you're using it. You're using it to set some goals, some targets, whether they're health, fitness, whatever they might be, weight loss, or if you actually really go, I actually just want to be a better person. I just want to look better, feel good in myself, and I know the exercise does it, and I love using this machine. I've got sore knees, I can't run, I don't like being on the bike, whatever that might be. So, you just got to find a reason why you're on here, and make that your reason, make that your why, and not only that, it's like, I couldn't get on here and do an hour because that would just completely kill me. But I could do 40 minutes by breaking it up into 6 8-minute pieces. Oh yeah, there we go. But I couldn't set 40 minutes on the time and just go, oh man, this is boring. So this is the whole thing. And this is why a lot of the workout stuff that I do, like today, 36 minutes, great time, perfect amount of time, especially on the rowing machine, for like a good day's training. And how'd we mix it up? I didn't say set the machine at 36 minutes and then you'll be like, oh man, now we're down at 28, now we're down at 24. I wish it would get to 15, and then all that sort of stuff. Whereas you just worked it out, did it, focused, bang, finished. Okay. So great. Okay. Awesome team. I think that's about it for today. We'll tune back in here next time and I'll come up with some other fantastic things. But as I say, thanks for everyone for tuning in, brought to you by Asensei. Love that you've subscribed and you're following this, and just remember, check it all out now with the new model that you can get all our programs for one single payment every month. So it's great. So if you want to go and try different people, I won't be sad that you're like, I've had enough of Eric, I want to see somebody else. That's fine. But it would be good to get feedback, because the whole thing is that we all coach different ways. There's something you might get from me, but you might get something from somebody else. And you might be using Shane's program, and then you might be like, actually, I like what Eric says in this way. But there's a lot of different things, and there's so many different ways to use this beautiful machine. Okay, so many ways. And it's about finding what works for you. So till next week, thanks a lot, everybody, and stay safe. Wear a mask, social distance. We're smart enough to get over this and get on with our lives. I will say I'm stoked to be living down here in New Zealand because we're doing it pretty well. So The more that comes from everybody working together, faster we'll get through this. Right. Till then, next week, peace. See you later, team.